Hey everybody, what's up? This is of course the Legendary Porpoise, and today we're doing something a little bit different. Instead of Avonberg, today I'm going to resume a little bit of a series of mine that had to do with small survival builds that you can use in survival or creative, but this is going to be a very small medieval house with a very small tower. It actually came out really, really cool. So without further ado, let's just jump on into it. As you can see here, I'm building these 4 high. So I had the layout already there for you. And we're going to put these blocks 4 high all the way around. And this is essentially what it should look like. Now at this point, we're going to take some stone brick for the foundation of the home and align it where I pretty much put it already. And I use this guide for you watching this video so you kind of know the space it takes and this about the roundabout size it's going to be, and also just for my own references, and it helps out a lot. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to place this one side here, and you're going to want to repeat this design all the way around, however many windows or whatnot that you really desire. But on these sides we're going to make it solid, and on the back end we're going to leave this space open, and we're just going to complete this side right here. And I actually forgot to put a window, so let me throw that on in there. And that's pretty much how the house should look. Now, I know I sped up the video at certain times and things like that. You'll see it throughout the whole thing. It's because I was trying to keep the video as short as possible. Originally, it was 25 minutes long. I narrowed it down to 14 minutes. That's pretty much the best I could do. So at this point, you're going to want to put just like a little awning out for the front door entrance, just like so. And you can add the little part that juts out if you want. That's kind of the style I like to build in, so that's something that I incorporated in this build. And with the roof, it's going to be pretty simple. I'm just going to do one side of the roof. I'm not going to video the whole thing, me filling in the whole roof. So I'm going to do this one side and let you do the other half. But as you can see here, I designed it a little bit differently. It's your basic, stair, block, stair going all the way up. But I kind of incorporated the middle design here. So as you're building it, you don't have to go back in if you don't want to. You can kind of build it with the roof on how the house is going to be designed. And as you can see, we're just going to repeat this design on this half. Pretty simple. It's pretty straightforward. It's very, very easy. So it shouldn't really be much of a challenge. If you're new to building, this is a very good, I guess you could say, like middle ground build. It's easy for beginners, but you will have to use a few advanced techniques, not much though, to get it to look the way that I designed it. But of course you can tweak it and make it however you want when all is said and done. So as you can see, I finished the roof here. This is how it's going to look. I'm going to fast forward and get past the part where I filled it all in. And I'm going to change these shaders. Yeah, see, these look a little bit better. The first set was a little bright and almost distracting. So I decided to change it up and go for a little bit more of a dull shader so that, the bloom and the sun flare is not in your face as you're watching this video. And now what we're going to do is kind of finish up some of the details on the sides of the house and kind of get towards the tower area. So as you can see, I put some log going across. And what I did is I just put grass blocks, so you can put some bone meal, some flowers, things like that on the sides here. Now on the actual side of the house, not the front and the back, we're going to put log. And you'll see why in just a moment. But on the back and the front side, you can put grass. And once again, on the sides, you put log. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to start on this tower area. Now, what I did initially is I built it all up in stone brick just to be done with it. And you'll see we're about to switch past all this. You don't need to watch me build the entire thing. But we'll move on, and I will show you kind of the finished height in just a moment. So you can kind of see where it's going at. I mean, you can build it as tall or as short as you desire, but I preferred to make it taller than the house, but not necessarily overshadowing the entire house, because the house itself is taller already for a single story home with just attic access. And I didn't want the tower to dwarf the house because it's not meant to. All right, so we'll finish that up here. And this is about what it should look like. And like I said, height is dependent on the user. You can make it as short or as tall as you want, but I found out this looks really, really good with the build. And now that the whole thing is built in stone brick, it's time to detail it. Now, you don't have to do, you don't have to build it the way I did when it comes to building it in one block and then adding details onto it. That's just what I do. So I added stone brick, a little bit of cracked stone brick, and the cobblestone mixture. Now, you could throw in a little andesite. You could throw in some diorite if you really wanted to. This also looks very good in vanilla. So if you build this in vanilla, it will look almost just as good. Obviously, these textures are a little bit better in my opinion than vanilla textures, but the vanilla product does look really, really great. So I will kind of skip through this so you don't see all the detailing that I did, because I did spend a lot of time on it to try to make it look really, really good and kind of worn down and beat up. So we'll skip past when I've done all that. And here it is. So this is the cobblestone, and you'll see the cracked stone brick is going to be near the base here. And I think it actually added a really good amount of atmosphere to the build. Like this, this house had been here for a while. It's seen better days, but it's still holding strong, and it's not just beat down and tore up just yet. So I sprinkled in the cracked stone bricks all along the bottom here. Pretty much made the entire foundation like pretty much worn down and beat up. And I actually think it added like a good layer of depth to the build. And you'll see in just a moment, I'm going to add another layer at the base. So it won't just be how it's set up now. I'm going to add another layer mimicking how I set up the base with the cracked stone all the way around. You see, I'm kind of matching the textures the way that I placed them on the original tower. And I changed them a little bit, but not too much. And this way, it gives it the appearance that it's multi-layered, which at this point, I guess you could say it is. And it gives it just, like I said, more of a rustic look. Now, you can add stairs. You can do things like that to it if you wanted to kind of give it a little bit more depth or definition, should I say. But I kind of liked just using the blocks because it is a larger tower with a smaller house. So now we're going to take those cobblestone stairs, slap them just like so all the way around, and then begins work on the roof. So it's going to be a basic stair, block, pretty much all the way around. And that's just to give it a little bit more of a cone shape instead of a dome or a triangular shape. I really wanted to kind of make it look medieval and that feel, that that atmosphere that I typically love to build in. And it was a little bit more challenging doing this in a vanilla style compared to using the Conquest Reforged mod like I typically do. So I just pretty much took the same techniques that I use in building Avenberg and things like that, and just kind of threw it over to this vanilla style. And as you can see, stairs, blocks, gonna put stairs on top. We're gonna skip the corner blocks. Okay, I mean, you can put them in there if you want to. You'd have to put a full block or a slab, but this is just what I decided to do. Once again, gonna fill this part in with another full block of spruce. And yeah, see, and I think it comes out really, really great without being too obnoxious or too high or too short. It's, I think the roof came out really, really well. And here we get to the square part. Gonna fill that in there, just like so. And this is where I kind of changed things up just a little bit. I put a full block in the center of each of the rectangular part right there, and then put stairs on top of the full blocks, just like so. And I think that looks really, really cool. I don't know. I really like the way the roof came out, and it adds to the build in my opinion. So you don't have to do this if you don't want to, but I threw in some windows on the tower, 2 block long, and with cobblestone stair blocks to give it a little bit more of a definition there and give it a little bit more of depth. And here I'm just going to kind of fill in this area that I completely forgot about and finish this up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what to do around the house to finish up all the sides, essentially, except for that one part that we skipped. And let me do this real quick while my mind's on it, because I completely forgot. Just put some spruce slabs there. And then put some cobblestone slabs around like so. Once again, adds a little bit more definition to it. So here, we put the spruce slabs on each corner. And then we're going to take some trapdoors. You can pick whichever ones you prefer. And we're going to throw them right there. Then take some stone brick stairs and slap it right there on the wood. And then last but not least, put some more trapdoors right there. And I like the way it adds, once again, another layer to the build. And I think it looks really good. The trapdoors are your friends, people. I mean, trapdoors can make a build go from okay to really awesome. And just follow that all the way around. I know I kind of skipped that once again, trying to save a little bit of time, but that is how it will work. So I'm going to fill this in right here. Should be pretty simple. And now that the house is pretty much completed, we're going to fill in this is gray wool or light gray wool. And it's a perfect texture for medieval builds because a lot of their buildings back then weren't wool, but it was that grayish, dirty texture and color. And for this build, it came out really, really great. So now we're going to take some oak fence and some spruce fence and fix the side of the house and make it actually look better, And we're going to put spruce on the bottom. And then the reason I designed it here is so the oak fence is meeting the conjoining blocks equally. Because initially it was only connecting at the top and it looked really silly. So I decided to make it connect at the bottom as well. And after that, I mean, that's pretty simple. So now we're going to get working on the chimney. Now, of course, I used brick. You can use cobblestone. You can use stone brick if you want. It really just depends on your style. But I decided to go brick. And there's no real way to build a chimney. I mean, you just literally have to kind of wing it, go with whatever style you prefer or the shape that you prefer. I typically try to start off with like a triangular shape. And then I just kind of mold it and kind of make it look more realistic, I guess you could say, look more organic for a chimney. And as you can see here, it's weird. I started off with a triangle, then I kind of went to a rectangle and moved around a bunch, but there's no real way to build a chimney. You just have to build it however you feel you like it best. And I just used a mixture of blocks, stairs, and slabs, and just tried to add to it. And I like on this texture pack, it kind of gives the moss and everything like that on there. I think it looks really clean and really, well, not clean, should I say, but it looks really good. And it adds to it's been out here in the woods, this house is older and things like that. And so once this chimney's done, you're going to see I did a lot of extra detailing and just around the area. And you'll see the finished project in just a second. And you can see here that I'm simply, adding some grass, added some paths, and I added a small dock just for the scene. And this is pretty much essentially the build. I mean, this is it. I think it came out really well. I think it's really cool. I mean, this would be a really nice first build for somebody. You could use the tower for any number of things. You got plenty of attic space that you could use for storage. But this is the build, and I really like the way it turned out. I think it's just a really nice spot, too, in this world. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed the build. Sorry if I talked your ears off. This is, of course, the Legendary Porpoise signing off. Have a good day, and happy gaming.